things. Right, we're going to start by going through the tank role quests and see what we get. Right, so we got Blasphemy Huntmaster here. Our liaison at Radzatan sent word of your arrival, but I can still scarcely believe our luck. Are you truly here to help us bring this wicked blasphemy to heel? Then there is hope for us yet. I shall fetch the Elder Seas here at once. She is leading the hunt, and I'm certain she'll be most eager to see you. Full glad I am to welcome you in good health and good spirits. Elita, on full behalf of all Draconia, allow me to thank you for rising to our defense yet again. You will forgive me for eschewing further formalities. As time is of the essence, I shall share with you what little we know of this elusive scourge. Following the events in Thavnir, we received a report that an unidentified man had fallen into fits on the road before transforming into a beast most foul, a blasphemy we soon determined. Eyewitnesses to subsequent attacks spoke of patterns on its skin reminiscent of heavy chains, and thus we have named it Gleipnir, for the creature of legend. It emerges from the brush without warning, bringing destruction and tragedy to those unfortunate enough to be near. Ere we can respond, it retreats into hiding, leaving no trace for us to follow. The elementals cry out for us to rid the forest of this wicked presence, yet even if we tracked it to its lair, I fear besting the beast would be no simple matter.
The wounds of Gleipnir's victims are tainted by corruption. We can but conclude that the fiend's fangs, claws, and horns are all imbued with a powerful poison. The small scratch sends the afflicted into fits, and death soon follows.
Mayhap you know of the creeping death? The effects of Gleipnir's vile poison bear more than a passing similarity to the symptoms of that deadly plague. It swept through the Twelveswood many years ago. The sick found their skin covered in chain-like patterns, and spent their final moments in excruciating pain.
'Twas long before I came to Draconia, but people still speak of it with dread. Is it true that the disease spared not a single hewer?
Very nearly, yes. Before the remainder were taken, we were able to devise a cure from the Glimshroom. Slow though it was, the scars of this tragedy could then begin to heal. Gleipnir threatens to reopen old wounds, I fear. Yet despite the similarities between the blasphemy's corruption and the creeping death's marks, it's unclear how these two phenomena are related, if at all. Both conjury and white magic have failed to abate the poison's spread. To confront Gleipnir now would place our soldiers at risk of grievous injury.
Forgive me, Elder Seedseer, but this appears to be urgent. What? Again? Gleipnir is struck once more, in the North Shroud. The whalers came too late to see the beast themselves, but the man it attacked yet lives. They are bringing him to Fallgard Float as we speak.
Then we must meet them there. Will you accompany us, Elita? Ilthamar should be able to appraise of the details upon our arrival. Boop, boop. We can't say for certain Glepnir has quit this place. Stay on your guard.
Word of the attack has yet to spread amongst the populace. They remain calm for now. Elder Seedseer, you honor us with your presence. I cannot thank you enough for coming all this way.
Given the dire circumstances, I would not leave this to another. Where is the wounded man?
Outside of the bobbing cork, being attended to by one of our healers. He's a capable healer, but I worry this is beyond his abilities.
I shall do all in my power to aid him. I, in turn, have need of assistance as well. I ask that you stay close, both of you.
You'll find the victim under the eaves of the bobbing cork. One of our healers is doing what he can, but will surely not begrudge any help you can offer.
I am a pretty capable healer myself, if I do say so.
That he survives his encounter with Glepnir speaks to his fortitude. I know not if he can be saved, but if we can at least allay his suffering, we must.
He clings to life, albeit fairly. We must try to ease his pain.
He's a hardy soul, but I'm utterly at a loss.
While I manage to heal his wounds, the poison lingers. I fear the worst is yet to come. When I removed his clothes for treatment, I recognized the chains. If this is indeed the creeping death... Do not lose heart. I shall spare no effort. Rest for now. We may have need of your talents again ere long.
Chikogis, man! Chikogis! A bloody swarm of them! That came from the east gate.
Chikogis are known as carriers of the creeping death. The villagers are on edge. If they think the Violkin harbingers of another plague, they may panic. Praise be to the Chikogis. I shall remain here with the victim.
We cannot let the Chikogis enter the village. Rumours of sickness have already begun to spread, and a swarm will surely sow terror and discord.
I shall do everything in my power to save this man. I entrust the matter of the Chikogis to you. Yeah, I can see there's a panic going on around here.
Chikogis? Where? Keep them away from me! I think this wide-eyed fella is the source of the earlier yelling. Do you see any Chikogis nearby?
They we're near Alder Springs, a whole swarm of them, like an army getting ready for war. Bringing the creeping death like as not. Folk have been dropping dead with no rhyme or reason, and I'm not about to join them. No, sir. Came running back fast as my legs could carry me.
Were you bitten? I will show you to a healer if so.
Not a single hole that doesn't belong. You can be sure. You'd best do something about that swarm, though.
Would that we could, but keeping the gate manned is our priority, and if we have not the numbers to spare for a hunting party... By the time whale reinforcements arrive, it may be too late. We'll deal with the Shikogis. The one who calls the greater number owes the other a flag in the veil, aye? I commend your bravery. Godspeed, and don't get bitten.
I've never seen so many of those filthy fiends.
Alder Springs is to the east. Rid us of that swarm before it arrives at our gates. We're more likely to hear the swarm before we see it. Keep your weapon close at hand. We cannot allow a single one to escape.
Oh, this must be the Shikogis.
Twelve be praised. And you, I've come bearing a cure for the creeping death, but it's of little use against actual death. Aye, that's why I've come. I've heard tell of a man suffering from uncommon pains at Falgor's Float. Sense an opportunity for philanthropy, and a touch of profit, I'll admit. But if what you say is true, his condition demands a much swifter pair of feet than mine. Could you bring the medicine to him in my stead? No need for payment this time, of course. You saved my life, and one good turn deserves another. I only hope the cure works as well as purported. As for me, I'll be on my way, and give any Vilekin I spy a wide berth. We inspected the man for bites, and for mercy found none. Last thing we need is another potential carrier of disease. I said 9. To think that the mere mention of Shikogis would spark such panic. The creeping death cast a long shadow over these lands.
You brought medicine. What luck. We must administer it straight away. Thank you for killing the Shikogis. Alas, our patient's condition has yet to improve, and it is all we can do to keep him from succumbing to the poison. A medicine made from the glimshroom which cures the creeping death. I know this medicine. It was once used to treat the creeping death. Given his symptoms, it may well prove effective here as well. It works upon the body quite quickly, as I recall. I... Hold on just a while longer, my friend. The medicine will soon relieve your pain. I don't... It hurts. It hurts. Why? The man shrieks, die in his throat as his body is racked by violent convulsions. He then falls still and quiet, as if his breath was snatched from his chest. "12, have mercy. At the very least his suffering is over."
Had we been quicker to deliver the medicine, would he have lived?
Nay, I think not. He was doomed from the moment the poison entered his blood, as will be others if we do not soon gain an understanding of our foe. Let this tragedy not be in vain, but serve as a lesson. Though the effects of Gleipnir's corruption resemble the creeping death, 'tis clear the two share little else in common. The poison burns through the body more quickly than any disease. Too deadly is it to be borne by creatures so fragile as Shikogis, or any other besides. Then that is one less possibility the people need fear. 'Tis a shame a life was lost, but this knowledge may help us ensure others are not. Spread word, but do so with delicacy. In these troubled times, fear and despair can drive even the goodliest souls to desperate ends. Gleipnir is the only blasphemy known to us in Draconia, for now. We must do our utmost to stop him from sowing further discord. Understood, Elder Seedseer. I'll give this man a proper burial before sharing what we've discovered. Ascertaining Gleipnir's whereabouts is still a primary concern. Let us return to the Adder's Nest, for information shall be our most reliable weapon in the days ahead, and there is no better place to acquire it. I shall speak to the people after this man receives a proper burial. To honour his sacrifice, I must do what I can to buoy their hope.
Glepnir has been sighted in various locales, and though we are reviewing every report, we suspect most are erroneous. Fear has a way of making one jump at shadows. It will take some time before we have determined which reports merit a more involved investigation. Until then, I ask that you stay vigilant and keep your eyes peeled for any sign of the blasphemy.
The Keeper of the Entwined Serpents is eager to resume the hunt.
We have followed up on every report concerning Glepnir, even those that beggared belief. The most promising suggests the blasphemy is currently stalking the South Shroud. We are to proceed there at once, for there is no telling when it might strike again. The Elder Seedseer is already en route to Roots Lake. Let us not keep her waiting. No sign of the beast yet, thankfully. A single glimpse of Glepnir might send the people running, and we'd be hard-pressed to restore order.
Greetings, Elita. As luck would have it, my sister Reo frequents Camp Tranquil. We would do well to meet with her first, for she may have knowledge of this threat that can aid us in our search. It has been too long, Reo. Connie! I was afraid the situation might force your arrival. Would that this reunion was under more joyous circumstances. It is heartened to see her joined by the bearer of Ato as well. Unfortunately, Glepnir's poison cannot be cured by any healing force known to us, as I'm sure you have already learned. Nevertheless, I have faith that together we will find a way to defeat it. Every moment is crucial, so let us dispense with further pleasantries. Have you received word of Glepnir's whereabouts? I have. It recently ambushed a poor traveller, who succumbed to his wounds soon thereafter. A tragic and increasingly common tale. No others in Camp Tranquil have come to harm, but some claim they feel a presence in the distant trees. Staring at them with a malicious intensity, they struggle to find the courage to venture beyond the safety of the camp. While its victims exhibit symptoms reminiscent of the creeping death, Glepnir's corruption seems only to affect those who have been assaulted by the blasphemy itself. We have yet to confirm a single instance of it spreading from one individual to another. That's somewhat reassuring, but it will provide little comfort to the people here, I think. If Glepnir comes, any defense we mount will come at great cost. Those who fall wounded will invariably die. I'm at a loss, and the people under my care can see it. They grow tense and bicker amongst themselves. Some even accuse me of standing idly by while this monster roams free, as if I'm not doing all that I can. I apologize. Would that I had come to you sooner. Would that there were more I could offer you. Not every burden is yours to bear, Canny. She is right. It is the duty of all seed seers to face this threat, and so we should do so together, with the aid of the elementals as well. Under different circumstances, I would agree, but their strength has waned since the calamity, and I am reluctant to impose upon them. Indeed, when I open my thoughts to the elementals, I shudder to hear their distress. Once we have laid low the blasphemy, the elementals will be at peace. Well then, how do you propose we go about that? First, allow me to speak with the people here, and assure them that all will be well, that Gridania's resolve to weather the storm remains steadfast. No road is closed to those true of heart. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that you'd begin with an earnest and heartfelt appeal. For my part, I shall reach out to Arun. Perhaps together we can find a way to offer similar comfort to the elementals. I have no doubt we will require their assistance in the days ahead. Thank you, sister. May the 12 watch over and keep you both. May I trouble you to accompany me? The presence of a storied hero would surely lend credence to my claims that the people's difficulties would soon be at an end.
While you attend to that, I shall gather what information I can from the wood whalers stationed here. Pray look for me at the camp proper when you have finished.
There was a time when my sister was loath to show weakness, though she accepts the aid of others more easily now, goes so far as to seek of her own accord, even. Her desire to project strength in the face of adversity sometimes brings old tenacities to the fore. Why, I'd give my palm and tail to stand before the illustrious Atawakant. And yet now I stand before you, which, as I've heard from Rhea O, is the next best thing, Kupo. Rhea O might be more affable than her brother, but she's not one to spout words of idle flattery. This I speak from experience. Yes, you've proven yourself a worthy white mage indeed, Kupo. If we are to convince the people that they need not live in fear of Glepnir, then my words alone may be insufficient. I do not comport myself as an imposing figure, blessed with martial prowess, to say the least. You, on the other hand, are renowned as a peerless warrior, who has triumphed in countless trials. Simply looking on your features fills me with confidence that this crisis too shall pass. I pray you stay by my side, that those we speak with might be joyed by your presence. Try as they might to go about their lives as normal, there's an unmistakable tension in their every movement. We must do what we can to put their minds at ease.
Seedseers are sitting pretty with their guards and finery. What do they care if a beastie is running amok? They'll be fine. That's why they're doing nothing while it hunts us. We'd be fools to trust our lives to those who don't care a whit. Aye, past time we went south. At least in old Dal they don't pretend to look out for the common man. Elder Seedseer, I was just, I
promise you that we are sparing no effort in our hunt for Glepnir. However, it will take time, and more may suffer before the beast is laid low. Nevertheless, I ask that you place your faith in me, if only for a while longer. I love the Twelveswood and her people with all my heart, and I will not let our enemy torment us forever.
I understand. Man's got to give voice to his worries from time to time, aye. Nothing I want less than to abandon my home. I'll stick around, for now. Sorry about earlier. I've been strung tighter than a longbow lately. I really do appreciate the Seedseers and all they've done for us, and I pray they can deliver us from this evil.
A single scratch is enough to spell one's doom, they say. Nothing but to wait for death to come. How can we face a beast like that? Do not give in to despair, my friend. Know that I shall do all in my power to see us through this crisis. Hold fast to hope, and encourage others to do as well. I'll try, Elder Seedseer. I'll try. I know you've placed yourself at risk, leaving the safety of the city and coming here, and that means a lot to me and mine. I'll stay close to the Whalers, and pray news of your triumph reaches us soon. Thank you. I promise that it will not be long. Everyone's scared, but so long as we stick together and stay strong, I think we'll survive.
I saw it! A gargantuan beast stalking the woods, with horns the size of my leg. What's to stop it from coming here to fill his belly?
Glepnir will do no such thing. I swear, I shall see to it personally that the blasphemy does not come within a mile of this village. Keep heart, for brighter days lie ahead of us.
Truly, Elder Seedseer? Perhaps I've let my imagination get the better of me. You're a beacon in these dark times. I pray you restore the peace soon.
I shall. You can be certain.
We can cower in fear, or we can strive to lift one another's flagging spirits. Better to choose the latter. May the matron bring you victory, for all of our sakes.
Too often do I only learn of the people's troubles through reports and the likes. To hear their stories firsthand, the desperation in their voices, it strengthens my resolve to bring this nightmare to an end. I am reminded also that we Seedseers must do more than to convey the thoughts of the elementals to our fellow Gregonians. Though they live among us, there is a tendency to treat them as something otherworldly and unknowable. If only all could share in our experience.
Will that be all for now, Elder Seedseer?
It will. I have done what I can to quell the unrest, but so long as Glepnir lives, they will never be at peace. Sometimes simply lending an ear does wonders, as must be the case with the elementals, yes? Indeed, you are correct. Today was a welcome reminder of that truth, and an important step in our journey. Mayhap I should visit these settlements more often. Doubtless some here think me as distant as the elementals, so rarely do they see me in the outer reaches. You have served me admirably as true protectors thus far, for which I am grateful. Yet until we have found and laid Gleipnir low, I must continue to impose upon your goodwill.
'Tis no imposition, Elder Seedseer. You saved me on the killing fields of Cartano. My life is yours, now and always.
Your life is your own to command, but I thank you for your words, and your conviction, which fills me with confidence that the path we walk is true. Even if that path takes us far afield. Did I ever tell you that when I was a young student, I would often steal into the woods with a dear friend of mine, much to the chagrin of our teacher? Deep down, I suspect there is still a part of me that yearns to wander where I should not.
Elder Seedseer, word from the border. We've got ourselves a right bloody mess by the sound of it.
What has happened?
Per your early instructions, the whalers closed the roads to all travel while we scoured the wood for signs of Gleipnir. But now a group of locals are demanding to be let through into Thanalan. They're terrified by the sounds of it, screaming about the creeping death and God knows what else.
Despair grips their hearts. If it consumes them wholly, then we may have yet more blasphemies to contend with. I will speak with them. Wild rumours fuel their panic, and with truth and compassion, I will convince them to see reason and return to their homes.
If anyone can, it's you, Elder Seedseer. We're doing our best to keep them calm for now, but my man's words painted a grim picture. I pray you make your way to the border as quickly as you can. Follow the road south. You'll find them soon enough. My men are doing what they can, but we're soldiers, not mediators. It's good we arrived when we did. Any later and we might have been met with a bloodier sight.
The people here are indeed terrified. I must take care with my words.
Let us through, damn you! We're standing here while the creeping death nips at our heels. You're telling us to die? Those rumours are false. The Elder Seer herself sent word that the creeping death is not responsible for the recent incidents. You mustn't surrender to panic. Return to your homes while we deal with the threat, and pay no heed to baseless stories. Stories? Stories? I've seen the dead with my own eyes. Don't tell me what isn't true.
Hearken to me, my friends. I fear the creeping death has not returned. Only those who have been wounded by Glepnir are in danger, and so I beseech you to take shelter in your homes until the threat has passed.
Glepnir? The beast I saw in the wood? We have to run. It could have followed us. You saw him? Where? Not far from here. Those glistening horns, those terrible chains, reaching out to drag you down to the seventh hell. We ran and never looked back. But don't worry, it didn't catch any of us. No one's marked, see? That means we're safe, right?
But say we weren't quite fast enough, what then? Its horns and claws are where the poison resides, and even a scratch would be cause for concern. Even a little scratch? Then it's too late for me. Is that why my body feels like it's on fire? You told me the branches tripped you up. You said that's how it happened. You said... Oh, heavenly winds, guide us the font of strength that we may drink from it and be made whole. I don't feel any better. Do it again. Do it again. It hurts. Help me. Conjury has no effect. There can be no mistake. This is Glepnir's doing. Even so, I ask that you do not lose heart. Stay strong, for if we surrender to fear, the beast has already won. No, I don't want to die. Please, help me. Damn it. Get back. You said it wasn't... why? Why? Liars. All of you. None of us are safe. None of us will... Oh, no. Despair made manifest. 12 forfend. Is there naught that can be done for these poor souls? Naught but one thing. I know. We must lay them to rest. Contain the threat. So this is the face of the final days. These ones are beyond saving, but we can end their suffering. What are those monstrosities? This can't be. This isn't real.
We'll keep these people safe. We did what we had to. If we had let the fiends live, the blood of many could have been on our hands. I can't take it. What kind of life is this? Waiting to be hunted or turned into one of them? Matron, have mercy. What were those fiends? The creeping death seems like a mercy compared to an end like that. 'Twas not the poison which triggered their transformation, but despair. Overwhelming despair. They are at peace. Would that it had not come to this. I was powerless to prevent it. You did all you could, Elder Seedseer. Is that what's going to happen to us? Is there no hope? What you witnessed was the fate of those who fall into the deepest despair. It feeds upon grief and anguish, and is more deadly than Gleipnir itself. But as I swore to you that we shall defeat the blasphemy that haunts our homeland, so too I swear that despair will not be the end of us. Keep the faith and look to the horizon, for brighter days will come. As you say, Elder Seedseer, as you say. Gleipnir is not here, and so you are free to return to your homes, but I urge you to take care on the path back. We will, Elder Seedseer. This storm has passed, but a darker tempest roils in the distance. So long as the spectre of despair looms, the people will struggle to take any words of comfort to heart. We will see more tragedies like this. The elementals too cry out for a solution. The longer we struggle to resolve the crisis, the more innocent lives we put at risk. Rhea-O said we would need to turn to the elementals for assistance, and I know now she was right, and so I will seek an audience with the Great One. However, there are preparations I must attend to first. I shall make the proper ablutions at the lotus stand, pray return to the adder's nest, and await my summons. Despite our best efforts, we have been unable to prevent further loss of life. I foresee even greater hardships ahead. As we press on, we mustn't forget the words of the Elder Seedseer. We must strive to remain undaunted in the face of despair. She is preparing for her communion with the Great One. When the time is right, she will call upon us both. Until then, my friend, stay strong.
The tired eyes and slumped shoulders of the keeper of the entwined serpents bespeaks weariness.
The situation is worsened since we last spoke. Gleipnir grows bolder in his attacks, and the conjurers are spread thin in their efforts to attend the victims. Moreover, we are no closer to finding a means to counteract the blasphemy's poison. With no choice but to wait until death claims them, some are overwhelmed by hopelessness, becoming mad beasts that lash out at their former countrymen. Such tragedies all too easily beget further tragedy, as bereaved loved ones are in turn overcome and share in the same horrid fate. The people speak of these incidents in hushed whispers, afraid that at any moment a monster might appear in their midst.
We must slay Gleipnir without further delay.
Indeed. Let us hope that the Elder Seedseer's efforts to enlist the aid of the elementals are successful, and that united we may at last cleanse the 12 roots of this evil once and for all. Urgent news, Elita. Gleipnir has ambushed a party of wood whalers. They are engaged with the blasphemy near the guardian tree, where the Great One slumbers. This bodes ill. Has it divined the Elder Seer's intent? Is it attempting to prevent her from communion with the elementals? Bah! In any event, we cannot let Gleipnir harm the tree. The Elder Seedseer bade us rendezvous with her at Sorrel Haven. We leave at once.
That's what I wanted to do. Come on, there we go, that'll do. Here we go. Battered arms and armours are strewn across the ground, but there is no other trace of man or blasphemy. I see. I think I know what happened here, though I pray that I am wrong. There is no sign of the wood whalers save their arms and armour. Seasoned warriors would never cast aside their equipment, but here it lies, and I see not a single body. In the face of certain death, even the bravest among us can succumb to despair. Before the blasphemy's poison took them, they transformed. Gleipnir could not have gone far. He may be watching us even now. Be on your guard. The air is thick with corruption. If the wood dwellers succumb to a man, then we can expect a hard fight. Though I dread the thought of hurting our brave soldiers, we cannot allow the creatures they have become to roam free. Let us form 2 groups, to more quickly track down and call the beasts. Once we have finished, we shall regroup under the boughs of the guardian tree. You find no trace of the whalers turned beasts. Our work is done then. The loss of so many brave souls is tragic, but now they are at peace, and the guardian tree is safe. Let us take comfort in that. I but pray that the Great One will hear my plea. Elder Seeds here. Are you hurt? The Great One is filled with fear, an all-consuming fear unlike any I have ever felt. It spoke unto me, and its words were clarion. Drive the evil away! Drive the evil away! It can think of naught else, and so we will not receive the aid we seek. Not until we can dispel the dread that claws at the forest's very heart.
No, this was our last hope.
Dragon wings? We are not alone. Oh God. Ooh. There can be no mistake. This is the profane beast, the blasphemy that has mired the 12 Brood in despair. Gleipnir. Stay back! It makes for the Guardian tree. We must stop it.
The poison! You mustn't let it touch you!
Such fearsome strength! Canna! Oh no. In accordance with our covenant, we Pedage have been blessed by the elementals. From the moment we are chosen, we are bound to act as mediators between man and nature. The most skilled among us are honored as seed seers, and it's their duty to guide Gridania through times both poor and prosperous. I cannot say which of you will be found more worthy. In my estimation, you both have potential to become seed seers. Of that I become more certain by the day. Is that like a young Canny? But I don't want to be a seed seer. I never wanted to be a Pedagel either. I never asked for any of this. Why can't I live a normal life like everyone else? How come I don't get to grow old? Why was I cursed with these ugly horns? They're not ugly, they're beautiful.
I like them. And maybe we didn't choose to be born this way, but I don't think it makes us that different from everyone else. It's a rare gift, a blessing even. And if we can use it to help others, then we should. Don't give up on being a seed seer, Canny. We'd all be worse for it.
A blessing? I never thought of it that way. I suppose I just hated not having a choice. But maybe you're right. Ha, I knew it was a young Canny. can. Eh?
The matron is merciful. The Eldseer has fallen unconscious, but is otherwise unharmed. The blasphemy must not have touched her, for I do not see the telltale mark of poison. Still, I am no healer, and she should be looked after by those who are. I shall carry her back to Draconia. We must leave before Glepnir returns. Await me at the Adder's Nest. Allow me to thank you again for your assistance. The Elder Seedseer has been delivered into the care of Isumiyan, and by the grace of the elementals will she make a full recovery. In fact, she has already regained consciousness, but is not yet allowed to receive visitors. We can but wait for now. God damn it! I was useless! I could do nothing while the Elder Seedseer faced Glepnir alone. I was to be her shield. As I stand before you while she lies abed is proof of my failure.
She wouldn't have wanted you to throw your life away.
You truly are the hero of whom the bards sing, aren't you? You've suffered terrible trials, yet you stand tall and resolute. Thank you for your counsel. How close I came to forgetting the lessons of my past. I've spoken of it to few. Truth be told, it brings me shame to recall it. I fought at Cartano, not as a soldier of the Eorzean lines, but as a conscript in the Garlean Imperial Army. Clad in armour or magitech, another drop in the sea of pitiless metal. You grow numb to the violence and the killing out of necessity. It becomes routine. Work to earn your next meal. But then the moon shattered, and the dragon emerged. And when the dust had settled, I was another body, clinging to life amongst the fallen. I remember staring at the burning sun above, growing weaker, wondering if the heat or an Eorzean blade would finish the job. But it wasn't death that came, but salvation. I was delivered from my well-earned fate by the Elder Seedseer. She deigned to save a man who had once bared steel against her people. Her kindness didn't end there. Once my wounds had healed, she welcomed me with open arms. Never did she regard me with distrust, nor did she ever make me feel obliged to repay my debt. She fought not to take life, but to safeguard it. Through her friendship, I came to see the wisdom in that distinction, and pledged my remaining years to her service. It would have accomplished nothing to throw myself against Glepnir in vain. And even if there was profit to be found in sacrifice, she would not abide it. Your words serve to remind me of this. We will defeat the blasphemy, aye, but we will do so without forsaking that which we hold dear. This I swear.
The Keeper of the Entwined Serpents has good news to share.
Elita, the Elder Seedseer has grown strong enough to receive visitors. Come, we must go to Stillglade Fane at once.
There you see. We're being very hard-working and well-behaved, I promise. After all, if we don't think properly, we'll never be as good as you. Oh, Elita, thanks to you, we may continue protecting our precious wood. That's what Brother Isamiyan was saying anyway. I'm not sure what he meant by that, but I hope you'll tell me more of your stories again sometime. Elita, if you're still worried for me, you need not be. I will be fine, so I am glad you came to visit. Ikani is through the worst of it. Doubtless she will be back with her old self ere long.
Elder Seedseer, it fills my heart with joy to see you in better health.
I am gladdened by your presence as well, my friend. Unless you wonder, know that the conjurers found no trace of the poison in my humours. If you are ready, I would resume our search for Glepnir.
They may be up to the task, but you are not. 'Tis one thing to engage in conversation, quite another to go gallivanting about the Twelveswood, hunting a blasphemy. I am aware you are a conjurer of surpassing skill, and would not presume to gainsay your judgment. But have my wounds not healed? Those visible to the naked eye, perhaps. I worry that strain of your communication with the Great One has taken a toll on you in ways we may struggle to perceive. The Great One is a being of purest ether, and you were exposed to its unbridled despair, its raw terror. There may be consequences.
I am aware of that, but Glepnir must be stopped. Until the blasphemy is laid low, people will continue to die. How am I to carry out my duties cloistered here? How am I to deliver the forest and its people from despair? 'Tis your duties that demand you remain. I understand your frustration, but if you were to fall in battle, if your guiding light you bear were to fade, then all Credania would be lost. Rest, Ikani. Rest and gather your strength, so that when the time comes, you are fit to do what must be done. In the meantime, trust in your allies. You are right. That said, I see no reason I cannot join in planning our next step. As you said before, conversation is quite unlike gallivanting about on a hunt. Our encounter with Gleipnir has made it plain that we cannot hope to triumph over it as we are. Only with the Great One's power can we achieve victory. When the seventh Umful calamity was nigh, the Great One committed a portion of its boundless strength to extend a barrier over heaven and earth, within Ermin Hedge. Thus was the 12 Wood spared the worst. If we could convince it to lend us even a small measure of that power, we would need not fear the poison. Therefore, I believe we should pour our efforts into placating the elementals, that we might earn their favour. We must make your voice heard then, yes? Indeed, we must find a way to assure the Great One of our good intentions, to remind it that we labour not for its destruction, but its salvation. I think too that we must gain a greater understanding of what drives Gleipnir. It seems to bear resentment towards the elementals, the Great One in particular. Why? I have pondered this question myself. Lingering memories of the person Gleipnir once was may be responsible. Reports from Razatsan suggest it is likely the case, in fact. If we could but ascertain the original identity of the blasphemy, but where are we to even begin our investigation? You were granted a vision of Gleipnir's past, and I was there? Then I may know who he is. Or was. As do I. The boy who trained alongside Kani in her youth. Yes, Sura Supin. After all these years, is this what became of him? Ah, you mentioned him briefly before. Were you close? Isura was a Padajal, like me, but he had never known his parents, and devoted himself wholly to his studies. He embraced the role the forest had bestowed upon him, and truth be told, he was a much better student than I ever was. A fair assessment, despite your esteemed heritage. You never took to my lessons as well as he, ever dreaming of the outside world. Stealing off into the woods more times than I can count. I could not keep watch over you at all hours, not even if I tried. The Elder Seedseer? A rebellious spirit? I can scarce imagine it. I resented being a Padajal. It was inconceivable to me that I could not live among the others, and I did not scruple to express my misgivings to Isumiyan at every opportunity. Iasura was a pillar of constant support. It was thanks to his encouragement that I at last embraced my destiny and resolved to use my gifts for the greater good. We would become seed-seers together, I believed, until one fateful day when we were gathering herbs in the forest at Isumiyan's behest. We met a wanderer, hailing from a distant land, who told us his beloved was with child, and that he had travelled to Gridania to beseech the Great One for a painless birth. He asked us to guide him to the guardian tree. However, Entry into such sacred places was not ours to permit, and there was something odd about his demeanour besides. With regret I refused him, but Iasura was loath to turn away a goodly stranger in need. He agreed to guide the man, despite my protestations. I ran to Isumian as fast as I could, and together we made haste to the guardian tree. We found the man motionless on the ground, having succumbed to the Great One's rage, and next to him was Isura, alive but unconscious. In time he recovered, and related the whole story. In truth, the man had been an adventurer, a seeker of wealth and glory, and as he had knelt to make false suspicions, he lunged forward to tear a branch from the guardian tree. He was yet a child, and Isura had no inkling of the darkness that could dwell within men's hearts. He learned the lesson that day, but the price he paid for it was great indeed. The Great One stripped Isura of his horns, and with them the right to call himself a Bajajil. I was forced to expel him from the fane. I never saw him again, nor heard a word of what had become of him. Though not for lack of trying, despite his hardships, did he remain in the Twelvewood all this time, I wonder? He dreamed of naught else but becoming a seed seer, of a life in the service of people in the forest. He knew the weight of responsibility and was eager to bear it. But he was deprived of that purpose by the very elementals he loved. And yet, he did not lose that will to serve, I suspect, and instead resolved to watch over the Twelvewood in his own way. I shudder to think what had hastened his transformation into Gleipnir, as if his life wasn't harsh enough. In our final conversation, Iasura confided in me that he would search for a means to calm the Great One's rage, and earn absolution. To that end he said that he would seek the counsel of the Mughals. They have called the Twelvewood home for far longer than we have, and so none are more likely to have knowledge of its most hidden workings. That comes as no surprise. He would not give up so easily on his dream. Even if the Mughals know naught of Iasura, they may be able to help us in other ways. Will you travel to the bramble patch in my stead, Elita? I have faith they will accept you with their characteristic aplomb. Leave it to me. I shall remain with the Elder Seed Seer, though I would gladly join you in battle against a manner of fearsome foes. I think myself ill-equipped to contend with Mughal mischievousness, and I know you are a storied veteran of such mighty struggles. Mughals are notoriously difficult to find if they do not wish to be found, but you will doubtless encounter one or two if you linger at the bramble patch. Though they may not know naught of Iasura, perhaps they will have insight into how we can relieve the Great One its fear. Ahem. Surely you can see that I am armed. If it's all the same to you, we don't want any... move along, Kupo. Huh. And quite a peculiar face you have, Kupo. Familiar too. You wouldn't be the self-same warrior who gave the legendary Mughals guard what for, would you? Elita, was it? Aha! It's an honor to meet you. Allow me to thank you personally for bringing that silliness to an end. Pourquoi Piki's the name? What brings you to our neck of the Twelveswoods? Why, what a pleasant coincidence. We were just discussing how we ought to go about calming the elementals, Kupo. That blasphemy with the dreadful horns has gotten them on edge. And for good reason. I've had to ask my personal guard here to sleep with one eye open. In case you haven't noticed, the beast's corruption has been spreading all throughout the woods. Needless to say, we've all got to stand up and put the 12 Wood to rights. Rhea O suggested that the Mughals contribute by scouring the forest for even the smallest signs of taint. Got to cleanse it before it gets out of hand, you know. Difficult and time-consuming work, but if it's in service to the forest, then we'll do it gladly, Kupo. Hey, I know you. You're the adventurer who gave me some of the finest scars. Coop-de-coop of the Mughals Guard. No hard feelings about the whole Hail to the King Kupo bit, I hope. Not going to call for a rematch either, in case you're worried about that. Rhea O and the others cured us of our tempering, and afterwards sat us down for a stern lecture. No more calling upon good King Mughal the 12th for us. May he ever remain unsummoned in his royal grace and splendour. Indeed. And what better way to make up for that past indiscretions than to serve the realm? Even now our kin scour the every elm of the Twelveswood, and we would not be remiss to do our part. We'll be overjoyed to have a hero such as you helping us as well, if you're willing. Something tells me you have a sharp eye for the taint we seek to cleanse. Can we count on you, Kupo? Your reputation for magnanimity is well deserved. Let's begin by moving to higher ground, that we may survey the area and locate any particularly nasty spots of blight. Oh, you were able to make your way up here after all. I was worried you'd be stuck. Apologies for leaving you behind, but it's so easy to forget that you kind of lack wings, Kupo. Now then, where was it? There, to the south, and let us cleanse that festering taint at once. The grass here is so brittle, Kupo. Restoring this area will surely put pep in the Great One's step. If it had feet, that is. That was some fine work, Kupo. I dare say it's even better shape than it was before. The others are doubtless twittering about stamping out corruption wheresoever it rears its hideous head. If I were the Great One, I would be applauding our efforts. Well, insofar as a being without hands can clap, I suppose. How goes the taint cleansing, Coop-de-Coop? I did what I could, but I swear, as soon as I finish with one area, 2 more start manifesting with a French taint. The forest's ability to heal itself is waning, and this sickness is spreading too fast, even for a legion of Muggles to manage. If we don't come up with a better solution soon... the situation is more grave than we imagined, Kupo. Oh, what shall we do? We should maintain our efforts to purify the forest regardless. But since there is only so many of us, we must also help the forest to remember how to help itself. A brilliant idea, I think. How do we go about doing that? Well, I was just getting to that part, Kupo. I've got it! We perform the friending! The friending? What in the name of good King Mugomog the 12th, may he shower us with loving compassion and Kupo nuts, is that? Truth be told, I couldn't remember the ancient rite's name, so I just made up something on the spot, Kupo. But let's forget about that for now, and move on to the stuff I do remember. It's an old ceremony, first performed when the nation of Gridania was but a spark of an idea, and of a random thought in the founders' heads. They knew that if they would establish a home within the Twelveswood, that they would first have to entreat the elementals for permission. So a mage in their company found and cleansed a few sources of foul ether, planted saplings in their place, and consecrated the soil with a prayer to show the forest the purity of their intentions. The elementals were so taken with the display that not only did they permit his people to settle within the forest, they also bestowed upon him their blessing as proof of their new covenant. Kupo? Ah, I remember now. The Gridanians still honour the agreement to this day. For every tree that is cut down, a sapling is planted. So if we follow history's example, we can soothe the forest's pain and also nourish it with new life. That's right, Kupo. Oh, but I wasn't finished with the story. Remember the mage who planted those sacred saplings? He was none other than Jorin, sire of Eokpota, the very first Padajal. From that day forward, the elementals would bless a select few heroes with horns, favouring them with their fellowship. The Padajal were exalted by the people of the Twelveswood. Even we Muggles look upon them with awe, and that's how it all began. Something wrong, Kupo? You have a strange look on your face. Glepnir may be a Padajal, a former Padajal at least. How dreadful, Kupo. But what exactly are you saying? So the man you think may have become Glepnir was a Padajal, stripped of his blessing, and the blasphemy kills with a poison that manifests symptoms that resemble those of the creeping death. I feel sorry for this Isura. To love the elementals only to be shunned by them, to be surrounded by the beauty of the Twelveswood, and know that he was forever an outsider, all for a child's mistake. That despair could easily have caused him to turn, and this poison that preys upon those who bear the Twelveswood's blessing, the hewers, just like the creeping death once did, might be another manifestation of that despair. That would explain the elementals at Nice, Kupo. We must redouble our efforts to plant saplings, or they might never speak to us again. Indeed. Well, first things first, we must gather as many saplings as we can. Elita, wait for us in the adder's nest, and make ready for a long and back-breaking day.
Welcome back, Elita. Do the Mughals have any insight into our problems? A reenactment of the ceremony which laid the foundation of Draconia. A fitting plan given the gravity of the threat the nation now faces. As ever, there is much work to be done before we can even begin. While the Mughals gather saplings, we shall continue to scour the 12 Wood for new beasts that must be purged. Let us pray that the Elder Seedseer regains her strength quickly as well. For now, take rest, my friend. 'Tis a rare indulgence these days, and you've earned it 1,000 times over.
The keeper of the entwined serpent is on the lookout for palms in the distance.
Gleipnir has not been seen since our last encounter. This brief respite might be our best chance to quell the Great One's terror.
Make way for the saplings, Kupo! We've had plenty of practice cultivating our gardens, so selecting the most robust ones was a simple matter. That was the hardest work, so you can help us out with the easy part. If you see a spot of corruption, cleanse the taint and plant the sapling in its place. Kupo? Do it enough times, and the Great One is sure to understand we're doing all we can to heal the forest, which ought to brighten its mood. We'll see to the east shroud. You should have no trouble taking care of the rest, Kupo.
Your efforts are much appreciated. We will begin without further delay.
I trust you will not object to my company. I dare say healing the forest is one task for which I am more qualified than most.
Elder Seedseer, are you well enough to leave the city?
I should like to think I have been for some time. In any event, Izumi has finally grown tired of my objections, and ceased his attempts to detain me further. Allow me to be the one to consecrate these saplings. 'Twould be an honor to offer words of thanks to the forest for its bounty. Please do, Kupo. A prayer from the Elder Seedseer herself will surely hasten their growth from a tiny sapling to a towering tree. Such is my hope. As Joran did before me, I shall approach the Great One in friendship, that it might see me through the veil of fear that blinds it, and remember our covenant. Let us begin by cleansing all traces of corruption in the central shroud. To Green Tier, I sense that the flow of ether has become warped here. Impressive, Kupo. Not even my keen eyes could spot corruption from such a distance. It is but one of many talents I owe to the elementals. Well then, shall we be on our way? This blight upon the forest must be cleansed. When you have finished, I shall consecrate the sapling in soil with prayer. I shall keep watch for errant beasts. The taint has been cleansed, but it'll only be a matter of time before it manifests once more. In gratitude for your boundless blessings do I offer this gift. May it nourish you as you nourish us. At last the earth is cleansed. There is a settlement not far from here. We should tell them of this sapling, bid them watch over and keep it safe from harm. Of course, Elder Seer, I shall relay your words forthwith. It will give the people hope to know that they can aid in the restoration of the Twelve's Wood. Thank you, and now we must go. To Silent Arbor, there is something foul impedes the flow of ether. Let us hurry. Pray seed to the corruption, that I may plant and bless the sapling. Look, the flowers here have withered and died. I shudder to think what the forest would look like if this were allowed to spread. I trust the Moogles are planting their saplings with suitable solemnity and reverence, but if they are not, let's hope their festivities do not draw Gleipnir's eye. The injury has begun to heal, and our next destination lies to the north. Near Hurstmill, I believe. 'Tis faint, for we are far from the source. Nevertheless, I am certain it is there. Come. So close to the hamlet. Is nowhere safe? Where must the people seek shelter from this corruption? "'Tis fortunate that the corruption here is faint. A simple prayer should suffice to cleanse this soil, after which we may plant the sapling." I sense no other disruptions in the etheric flow, which leads me to believe that the Mughals have already seen to the remainder. Indeed, the 12 wood sighs with contentment I have not felt in a long while. But will it serve to placate the Great One? I cannot say, not until we visit the Guardian Tree. Excuse me, but you're the Elder Seedseer, aren't you? What brings you all the way to our village? Corruption that has set the balance of ether, but that we have since cleansed with prayer and saplings. Thus has the 12 wood reclaimed a measure of peace. You've been planting trees? We have. The elementals have suffered much of late, and with these offerings we endeavour to raise their spirits. The Elder Seedseer, I've got to protest. What of your people's spirits? We who dread every step we must take out of our doors. That terrible monster is still out there, preying upon innocent folk without rhyme or reason. And if it doesn't strike us dead where we stand, its poison will finish the job. Afraid that you and yours suffer still. However, 'tis under the auspices of the elementals that we may call the 12's wood home, and they too cry out for deliverance. Even the Great One quakes with fear for the blasphemy's continued existence. To ignore their plight is to invite greater tragedy for us all. Rest assured, however, that I have not forgotten the needs of the people. We bring comfort to the elementals and renew our sacred ties, that we might enlist the aid of the Great One in combating Gleipnir and the suffocating despair it spreads. And so I pray you continue to put your faith in our guardians, and in me. Would that we could, Elder Seedseer, but we've been dealing with death and sickness since before Gleipnir's coming. They say the creeping death's nothing to fear these days, but we know better. One of ours caught it not long ago. We gave her the cure, had plenty on hand, and for a while we thought it would be alright, but by the time we realised it hadn't done a damn thing, it was too late to call for a conjurer. It was a sad day for all of us when she passed, but none more so than her poor husband, Supin. He was beside himself with grief, and who could blame him? And then came Gleipnir to confound our woes. Supin? It cannot be. Do you speak of Iasura Supin? Iasura? No. Supin was an odd one, but no one had mistaken for Pedagio. Supin wasn't even his real name. That'd be Elengia. But his wife was fond of calling him Supin for some reason, and it caught on with the rest of us. I see. And what did Elengia look like? Well, I'd say he'd seen no more than 30 summers, kept to himself, came and went with neither a word at times, though after he met his beloved, he became more of a fixture, friendly even. His wife was a sickly lass, but she had spirit, but spirit's not enough to beat the creeping death. Pity we couldn't do anything for her. He had finally made a new life for himself here. Thank you for recounting Elenia's stories. Sad though it was, it has helped me to better understand how much you have all suffered. I promise that you will have cause to celebrate soon. Until then, I implore you to place your faith in the elementals and in me. Together we shall overcome this crisis. Despite what he said, I'm certain the Selenge was Iasura Supin. To think that he was living so close by for all those years, searching for new purpose and finding true love. Only to be robbed of that fulfillment too. Were he still a Pedagel, empowered by the elementals, could he have saved her? He would have dwelt on the question. Night after sleepless night, I know I would have. Mayhap in the end he came to blame the elementals for his helplessness, for her death, and in despair was consumed. Aye, the animosity would linger, endure, and in vengeance would Gleipnir find its final purpose. We have done all we can to show the Great One the purity of our intent. Let us hope that we will be accepted as friends. Suffering was Isura's constant companion. Nay, it is still. For his sake and ours we must deliver him peace. Our supplications cannot have escaped the Great One's notice. May it be enough to receive an audience. O Great One, may I abide ever beneath your boughs, embraced by your compassion, grace and wisdom. Be still the fear within your heart, and know that I am your faithful servant. All feeling, passing corruption, refreshed, renewed green, flesh restored. Child of child, covenant honored, friend, friendship, peace. It worked. The Great One speaks through the Elder Seedseer. You were right to follow Joran's example. The corruption is but one aspect of a greater threat. Profanity's spawn, despair's orphan, sadness, death's prayer, one and all. Poison potent, wounds unmending, withering bark, no strength to share.
After all we've done, you deny us? After all the Elder Seer has endured? She has pledged herself to you, devoted her life to the 12's Wood. The people cried out for salvation, and she answered. The elementals cried out for delivering, and she answered. Only you can help us now. If you do not, then we are lost. She is lost. Please, I beg you.
We beg you.
What are you doing here? We've been dependent on the Seed Seers all our lives, blaming them whenever something goes wrong, without ever considering what we might do ourselves.
Aye, but no longer. The Elder Seed Seer has gone to incredible lengths for her people, and so her people have come to return the favour. If her plea alone is not convincing enough, then we will raise our voices in support.
We couldn't let them make the journey without protection, and we couldn't let them put us to shame. We've come to stand with the Elder Seed Seer and beseech the Great One for aid.
We all want the same thing, don't we? Peace restored to the forest? So please, share what you can, however little. Do not forsake us. Do not forsake her.
Can E, Covenant's child, walks with man, with elemental, keeper of ancient faith, unbroken. Cannot, will not, break faith. To man, render up flesh. Then you agree to help us? Flesh, branches, take and join, to oldest elders, renew bond, as one stir. Raise up to heaven's covenant symbol, our staff, all join, all bloom, all peace. My duty weighed heavy on my heart, so heavy that at times I scarce remembered to breathe. For days and nights I worried that I would be found wanting. But by your faith and trust has the path forward been revealed to us. You came hither, united in purpose, and bared your hearts before the Great One. Aye, nay, Draconia is forever in your debt.
May I rely on you all once more. I bid you take these branches to every corner of the Twelvewood, and join them to the eldest trees, that we might finally win free of this despair. It shall be done, Elder Seedseer. We swear it. Once the trees have been bound together in spirit, I shall carry out the Great One's final instruction, and cast its cleansing power all across the Twelvewood. Yet I must remind you, my friends, that Gleipnir still stalks the forest. It will not remain idle. It will attempt to stop us. Go with hope in your hearts, but do not lose sight of the danger. I admit, for a moment I thought it wouldn't work, but the Elder Seedseer moved not only the hearts of the people, but that of the forest itself. Her final task appears to be a bit more complicated than the Great One made it sound, and so she must scour the ancient text before time comes, and consult with the Seedseer Council to make sure all goes according to plan. It's just as well. We still need to wait till the others have joined the Great One's branches to the many ancient trees scattered throughout the Twelvewood. Then, of course, there's the matter of Gleipnir. He will not go peacefully as we work to hasten his demise. When he comes, we must be ready. Level 90 coins. The Keeper of the Entwined Serpent is pleased to see you. Impeccable timing as always, Elita, but moments ago the Elder Seedseer sent word to go and fetch you. She's already on her way, and will explain everything herself when she arrives. You know, I didn't see you go anywhere. All I did was change costume. Change weapon, rather. The children of the Twelvewood, both Moogle and man alike, have sailed forth, branches in hand, to the far reaches of the forest. Soon their task will be completed. Through the shadow of death yet looms large. They do not allow despair into their hearts. They hold fast to their faith in a brighter future. We shall see their hope rewarded, and by the grace of the elementals, consign these grim days to memory. We need only succeed in summoning the Imran Hedge. You may recall that the Great One's words were muddled and esoteric. I believe it was an instruction to carry out this esoteric ceremony in order to expunge the corruption befouling the forest, that the once tainted earth may begin to mend. For you see, when the Imran Hedge was formed, it was to protect the Twelvewoods from the threats without. The Great One acted as a guardian, embracing the woods to shield them, as a father would its child. On this occasion, however, we will call upon it to nourish and revitalize, as a mother nurses her child, to make them strong against sickness. In channeling the power of the elementals in this way, we can stem the spread of Gleipnir's poison, and the scars of its passing will finally heal. At least, that's what the Great One intended to say, I believe. The Seedseer Council agrees with my interpretation, and has permitted me to perform the ceremony. I have in my possession a single branch, the final one to be attached to the eldest tree of the 12-wood. For all that you have done to aid thus far, I ask that you accept this honour. Who better to set the final stone in this new foundation for everlasting peace, you who have sacrificed so much for the sake of others? If we had even a sliver of your courage, we could move mountains. Thank you, my friend. We will find the tree of which I spoke in front of the Leatherworkers Guild. Let us depart. From here the Great One's blessing will spread to every corner of Draconia, and send all manner of wicked beasts scurrying back into the shadows. Look to the boughs above, and you will see a spot where the bark has been discoloured by age and the elements. There you must affix the branch. You ascend the ancient trunk and affix the branch of the guardian tree to the weathered bark, as directed by the elder seedseer. You are quite the climber, and with that all preparations are now complete. Let us return to the guardian tree, and with the aid of the Great One deliver salvation to the whole of the 12's-wood. Our journey nears its end. I shall be glad to go to bed again without Gleipnir to haunt my dreams. If it is truly Iasura's lingering resentment for the elementals that drives the blasphemy, then it will surely come. For the sake of the man he was, I must try to appeal to his reason, but should I fail, then we have no recourse but to fight. Regardless, this day shall bid farewell to Gleipnir. Through the branches of the guardian tree, the 12-wood is become as one. In summoning the Imran hedge, every elm of these sacred lands will be imbued with the Great One's nourishing ether. The forest will be empowered to heal itself, to break free of Glepnir's despair. The ceremony is complex and delicate, and I must maintain focus. I trust you will do what is necessary to see that I am not interrupted. I am the darkness to your light. Glepnir comes. Defend the Elder Seedseer. I shall absorb your darkness. Are the elementals so deserving of your scorn? Do you hate me too, for my horns? I knew a boy once, a boy who called them gifts, symbols of the blessings he resolved to share with the world. Yet the beast before me now brings naught but misery and death, marks its victims with chains to bind and condemn, to share in its suffering. I was not there for you then, but I am here for you now, to unmake what you have become. I shall begin the ceremony. Stand fast, and remember what we fight for. Well, that's fine, he's letting me do their work. I know I've got to fight him, but it's like... Oh, what's that I've got? Brilliant conviction. Breaking limits as only a true warrior of light could. I can do that. Right, well, that means your job. Don't be stupid. who stopped that fatal person? Stunning it has no effect. Maybe interject? Take my ether.
By the grace of the elementals! I shall ease your hurts.
through sacred soil and azure skies, may your compassion flow and swell to balance the darkness. Receding terror, blissful, quiet. Blessing, covenant preserved, now and always, child of child. Honor and gratitude unending. For we as well, honor and gratitude unending. We could not have overcome the blasphemy without your aid. In your everlasting grace, I pray you continue to guide we children of the forest. In your boundless mercy, I pray you forgive the lost and forsaken who succumb to despair. To you, my dear Yasura, I promise I shall never forget your words of wisdom. Ours is indeed a gift and a blessing, and a duty to our people I will uphold. Until my final breath, this I swear. The elder Seedseer's childhood friend suffered too much tragedy in his life. Of that there can be no doubt. But with his passing, he and the realm may once more know peace. And we may finally begin to mourn the innocence lost to his rage. Thank you, Elita. The great cleansing could not have succeeded without you. The blight has been purged, and the blasphemous beasts which bore it laid low. The sacred wood that once held its breath in fear now breathes a long sigh of relief. I must return to Draconia and my regular duties as Elder Seedseer, but I should be glad if you could call upon me there. That is, if I may impose upon you one final time. Thank you. I promise not to detain you at length. Let us meet again at the Lotus Stand. Actually, I wonder. Out of curiosity, does she know? I'm just going to go the right direction. God damn it. Why would I just take my choke go there? The Mughals have agreed to help us wheresoever they're able. Together all who live in the 12 Wood shall weather this storm. The Elder Seedseer awaits you within. Shall I escort you to her? Yes. The Great One's ether flows throughout the 12 Wood, purging the last vestiges of Gleipnir's poison. The surviving wounded are no longer in danger, and have begun to recover at long last. We have much cause to rejoice, and in no small part because of you, my friend. On behalf of Draconia and myself, allow me to thank you yet again for your tireless efforts in bringing Gleipnir to heel.
You went above and beyond the call of duty for the sake of our people and their homeland. You were inspiring to behold, and not for the first time, I must say. Forgive me, Elder Seedseer, but with this crisis behind us, I would suggest a new course of action.
Oh, and what would that be?
Rest. In all our time together, I have never seen you so hard pressed. Surely you are weary and could benefit from a brief respite.
I appreciate your concern, my friend, but I cannot, will not. One day perhaps, but not this day.
But, Elder Seedseer!
Recent events have given me cause to reflect upon my past, upon lessons that I once thought I had taken to heart. When I did not understand the duty with which I had been entrusted, when these horns of mine were but chains binding me to a destiny I did not choose. 'Twas Isura who taught me to appreciate the gift I had been given. Had he not been there to help me keep the proper path, where would my errant feet have taken me instead? He was perhaps the first, but he would not be the last. My brother and sister, and countless other kind souls through their words and their support, have also helped me continue to find a way forward, even when I thought there was none. 'Tis by opening our hearts to one another that we in turn open new paths, that we can conceive of greater opportunities and brighter futures. All who live within Draconia are deserving of these gifts, and so I must always be there for them, that together we may journey in safety through darkest night. Not tempted to live wild and free like an adventurer? It is not without its appeal. I recall fondly the few occasions I have travelled beyond. Our time together in the churning mists left a lasting impression. If ever there came a time when I no longer serve as Elder Seedseer, I should very much like to accompany you on another adventure. It's a promise then. Regardless of what the future has in store, my present course is clear. So long as we Pedagel serve as the bridge between man and elemental, Gridania can weather any storm. And so I will continue to walk hand in hand with my people and my patrons, along a path that we discover together. Though the blasphemy is no more, there are still administrative matters to resolve. If it is not too much to ask, could you bring word of these recent events to our delegate at Razat-san? It has been an honour and a pleasure, my friend. May the elementals watch over and keep you. I would gladly go to Razat-san myself in your stead, but the Elder Seedseer is adamant on resuming her duties at once, and so I too must go without rest. But such is the life we both chose. I am afraid the lotus stand is closed to all with express permission to enter. Briefly go back here, see if this has changed. Okay. How do you fare of late? I have received words of your exploits in Garlemald. They say you offered the gift of friendship, the gift of hope, to your once sworn enemies. Truly, it sounds like a journey of unforeseen destinations. Arun has enjoyed his time with members of the Ilsabard contingent, and it seems they've had no small measure of influence on his way of thinking. It reminds me that we must step outside the 12th Rood on occasion, or risk losing sight of the larger world. By the way, you should be glad to hear that Alqua has settled in most comfortably. She enjoys the quiet of the forest, and her presence has even given me cause to reflect on how I might reconnect with nature around us. A curious question from one who has borne witness to the tragedy of Ampator with her own eyes. What is white magic indeed? Very well, I shall give you my answer that you might judge for yourself how it compares with your own. The art now known as white magic dates back to the 5th Astral Era. It was then that the brilliant young sorceress, for the first time in history, succeeded in channeling not merely her own life energy, but the ether that inhabits the very land itself. Her magic was that of destruction magic, black magic. The people of Ampadur felt this power was too great to be allowed to go unchecked, and so it was that white magic, the magic of healing and solace, was born. So it was the forces of magic were brought into equilibrium, and civilization flourished. But this era of peace and prosperity would prove short-lived. War broke out, and the realm was thrown into chaos. The War of the Magi. To rain death and destruction upon their foes, mages summoned forth greater and greater powers. The war raged on, until the ether dried and the land itself could bear the burden no longer. so did the Subis of Magi bring forth a sixth umbral era, and with it a mighty flood that swept away entire civilizations, leaving naught but ruin and suffering in its wake. The survivors, what few there were, banded together, vowing never again to repeat their mistake. White and black magic were declared forbidden arts, never to be practiced again. The elementals of the forest, knowing that men could not be trusted to keep such vows, took action as well. The Twelswood grew, swallowing the ruins of Ampador, and the power of white magic was sealed away deep in the forest, far from the reach of mortals. Ages passed until 5 centuries ago, the elementals at long last welcomed people back into the forest. So the nation of Gridania was founded, and my people, the Padagial, came to being, to serve as mediators between elementals and those who would reside in the forest home. It is from the elementals themselves that we inherited white magic. Now to complete this quest.
Welcome back. I pray you've brought glad tidings. Gleipnir is slain. You brought joy to me on an otherwise uneventful day. Of course, I had complete faith in your success, but I had begun to worry ever so slightly when you did not return as quickly as I anticipated. I shall report your success to the envoys at once. If we have further need of you, I pray you will answer our call.
Yay!
While the veil of despair has been lifted from Gridania, our work is far from finished. It will take time and effort for its people to accept that peace has returned. News of your victory will be sure to speed this process along.
And now, I should be able to re-unlock my mentor status. It is a pleasure to see you, Elita. The Adventurers Guild is endlessly grateful to all who have chosen to accept the position of mentor. Now, what might I do for you this fine day? Apply to become a mentor. Yep, I have done everything to become a battle mentor. You have our gratitude, Elita. New adventurers everywhere will be most appreciative of your service. The Adventurers Guild has certified you as an official mentor. You now have access to the Novice Network and are eligible to receive the experience point bonus from grouping with new adventurers. Battle mentors may also use the Duty Roulette Mentor. When interacting with beginning players on the Novice Network chat channel For on duty rule at Mentor, we ask that you do your best to offer advice and encouragement, and answer their questions with patience and clarity. Right, so now that I've done that, there are 2 more quest chains to do. Obviously I'm not going to do them tonight because it's quite late, but I hope to do them soon. I am going to go to my house here. Thank you all for watching. I bid you all sleep well and sweet dreams. Love you all. Bye for now.